Hello everybody, how are you today? Today we're going to explore another Sims home. I'm sure if you played The Sims 1, game released in 2000, you'll be familiar with a road called Sim Lane and a starter family called the Newbie family. And they live in the little house that is circled right there on the corner. Just a little house, but I think there's some stuff to go over. I made a version of it in Sketchup. I made some changes, as I did with my previous Sims houses on this channel. I advise you to go and check that out. And yep, let's get started. So we're going to take a more close depth look. Now here's the front of the house. Obviously the Sims games, the original Sims was made in the isometric version and only had hipped roofs, etc. And this is just a simple little house. It's a starter house. You can see why it's so simple. Because, you know, it's just kind of a tutorial to the game, if people recognize it. And you will notice my changes here in just a few minutes, but yeah, that's the house as is. Here's the inside of that house. Now you see, now pay close attention also to the tiles. Tiles also just show you that this game, when you build a house or put furniture in, you're based off a grid. And you're confined to that grid. And also, just take another look at the Sims. This version, you'll see it's just 3 little rooms, a great room, a bathroom, and a bedroom in the back. Pretty typical for a Sims 1 starter home. And you know I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. Here's just a rotated version. Because it's all in isometric, you'll see that some of the objects are blocking each other. And you see nice big patio, the same. Then take a look at those kitchen tiles. That's 1 grid square. And we'll discuss size in just a moment. And here's 1 grid square. As you can see, it's about, I calculated it to be about 3'4" by 3'4", or approximately 1 meter by 1 meter, 1 square meter, you know. For people who are outside of the US, I decided to put a person down just to kind of compare the size, you know, how they determined to put chairs and bathtubs and windows and doors and all in the Sim game. You're very familiar if you've played the game. And now, here's my updated version. As you can see, it looks a lot different, and I'll discuss that here in just a moment. The first thing you probably will notice is that garage. The garage I added myself outside of the grid of the house. And you'll see that in just a moment as well. You also notice right here on this front corner, this right corner right here, you notice in the original house the corner was diagonal. I decided to square that out for spacious purposes, or for the space inside the house. I considered keeping it, but I realized it's a killer on space, so I kept it. So I squared it out, I mean. And the windows are obviously different, but it's kind of how you got to do it when you need to rearrange things inside. Alright, so you just saw my grid square, and that's about the size of one of these grid squares here in The Sims. According to my very best guess. Now you'll come over here, as I said a moment ago about how I just added that garage. And you will also see the pink grid I have on this on the house. That's exactly the grid that was used to build that house in The Sims. However, in The Sims, you're confined to that grid. Here, my model here is in Sketchup. As you can see, the exterior of the plan obeys the perimeter of the grid. But I decided to make the interior grid free, so you could like add things like closets and smaller countertops and such. Well, I mean, regular countertops and such. And then put doors wherever I want, and that will make a difference. So in the same amount of space. For example, making it more efficient. And then the garage, that's just something I added, it doesn't even count. There it is again. Good. Here's that house without the grid on top, and you will see all the different little rooms inside. In The Sims, probably the best you can do is probably those 3 little rooms, that 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom plan. But without the grid confinement, I figured I could fit a laundry room, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, plus closet space, and then still have a big enough great room. And if you can kind of see where I headed, I kind of tried to keep the general idea alive, where the kitchen would be on this far left side, and I have still that bedroom in the back. Then I added a front bedroom within that space. That's one reason why I squared it out. Then I decided to have the bathroom in between. I had to play around with it a lot, but I finally came up with something that I actually like. Then I added a laundry room, because there's also utilities in there and such, and you'll see in my video scenes that I made of the house. Then obviously there's that garage I added in the back, well, to the left. And then as you also see how the windows are different, decided to make the windows according to the rooms. You know how people like to center their windows or something. And there's that foam, but then here again, compare The Sims. Compare The Sims to mine. And if you see in The Sims, see where my cursor, hopefully you can see my cursor. I added the garage on the edge. Then I also changed up the patio a little bit, and you'll see that in the scenes animation. So, without further ado, we will see the house as it is in my SketchUp version. Again, as you can see where these perimeters are. I don't know how well my cursor outlines them. That's the actual heated square footage, or square meters as you like to call it, of the house itself. And I stuck with it. So I made the space a lot more efficient in real life. I also measured out my own furniture, punched in the exact dimensions, and placed them in the house. as is. Well, I mean, placed them in the model of my house. Version of the Sims house, sorry. Alright, so we're gonna go watch it. And you'll notice all the differences. You'll see all my furniture too, how it fits inside. You'll see how it all comes together. Decided to put a little person in there just to kind of give you an idea of the sizes. And all that furniture there is mine. Except for the appliances. The furniture is all from my house that I just measured. Well, in case you're wondering about that front bedroom there, I just turned it into a little office. And well, you can do whatever you want with it. If you buy a house, you can do whatever you want with it. So it's like you can sleep in the living room if you wanted. You can see patio. Now, if there's one thing you wanted to know about that patio roof, the roof over the patio, kind of makes an extension off of the actual roof. But I decided to have that lined up, you know, with a garage and everything. Here's what I just talked about. As you can see, the roof looks a lot different in the Sketchup version than the Sims itself. Just because I had to extend the roof out a little bit. Sorry about that. I had to extend the roof out a little bit because the garage goes a little longer than the rest of the house. I mean, the depth goes a little deeper than the rest of the house. So instead of just having to put another roof here, it's made one long roof. Then, as you can see, this ridge is higher than this ridge. But in the Sims house, the ridge is all the same height. Thought I would point that little tidbit out. So it's a partially covered patio, all thanks to the garage here. And that's the house. Well, hope you liked it. I'd like to make some more edits in the future. Because this is a lot of fun, actually. It's a little challenging, but it is a lot of fun. And I guess you guys could try it too if you wanted. It's not that hard. Just pick your grid squares, count them, and then build over them. But I think that you would find that it's kind of fun. If you like SketchUp and you've played The Sims, I say why not? Alright everybody, thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'm sure to have at least another one. Not too long. Alright, thank you for watching. Goodbye.